Let's go, girls. Welcome to Talk Wealthy to Me. I'm Michelle Taylor, founder of Women in Wealth. From breaking money myths to building wealth and achieving financial freedom, we're here to empower you to create your own path. Talk Wealthy. Now, join the conversation and let's change the way women think and feel about money. Okay, ready? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Talk Wealthy to Me podcast. I'm Michelle Taylor, and I am so excited to have you here. As always, please like, rate, follow, all of the things, and help me continue to grow this audience. If there's anything that you guys want to hear about, guests that you want to have, please send us a message on talkwealthy.com or drop us a message below. Okay, with all that being said, we are wrapping up January, and I don't know about you, but I feel like January is 2 months long, typically. But it's always a really exciting time of year because even though it's an invisible line in the sand, it truly does feel like we're able to start fresh and set New Year's resolutions and goals and intentions for the year. So I thought I would take a few minutes to talk about what I'm doing and what I would love to see everybody do going into 2025 to make sure that this year is one that is super successful and you accomplish everything that you have planned for yourself. Coming through the holidays, I know most of you, myself included, probably have a little bit of a spending hangover happening, and that is totally normal. There's really no way to avoid it other than planning for it and being prepared, but even then, it's inevitable. So I wanted to just share a few things that we should all be focused on going into 2025 to make sure that this is a financially successful year. And time is of the essence, ladies. So we are always go big or go home around the holidays. It's sentimental for me to create those memories for my family. And I always go overboard. And that is thanks to my mom, who I think came from the North Pole. But we decided this year we wanted to do something really different and take the kids on an adventure. So on Christmas Eve, we told them we were going to London. And if you guys haven't been to London at the Christmas season, it is spectacular. It's also spectacularly expensive. So my husband and I, we always sit down and have what's called a State of the Union for us and our family. And this was the first thing we were addressing. And I think it's really important that you're doing the same thing. So looking back at 2024, I want you to go through and understand the financial wins and also the financial losses and areas of opportunity. It's incredibly important to know where you've come from and to know how to correct a behavior or continue to do something else to make sure you're setting yourself up for success. So when you're looking back at 2024 and really any year, you want to take all of your statements. If you are not a business owner and you don't have P&Ls, it's going to be a little bit more laborious, but it's worth it. I would take a few highlighters, different colors, and print out all of the accounts that you have spent on and categorize how much you've spent and put it into a spreadsheet. I think that that's the easiest way to remember missed subscriptions or set yourself up for months that you know are heavy spend months and then plan for them. You also may identify things that you didn't even realize were there, things that you were charged for and shouldn't have been, but ultimately it just feels really good to start with a clean slate. So once you have those numbers, I want you to kind of think through what percentage of your income you're spending where. Now, if anybody in the audience knows me, I love things like Starbucks and spending money without feeling like I'm on a budget. Nobody loves a budget. So let's shift that focus to a spending plan. If you can understand where you're spending your money and where you feel you've either been too aggressive or not aggressive enough, you just make those adjustments and determine where you need to make changes. I have found that the most successful and wealthy people are constantly looking at their accounts. And I know that that feels scary, and I've talked about this in prior episodes, but not putting your head in the sand is the quickest way to overcome something that's happening that you're not comfortable with. With all that being said, once you get a good idea of where you spent and you've got a good spending plan for moving forward, I would love for you guys to focus on being super intentional with how you're spending your money going into 2025. So, in these State of the Unions, either with a significant other, a business partner, or if you are single, map out the year and think, okay, what do I want to be saving on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, and then as that big number? And when you're thinking through this, you want the monthly to be almost forgettable. You don't want it to be so easy that it is not impactful. But if it's something that is too aggressive, it's going to be hard to stick to. So I would just, and there's no magic equation to what that is. It's truly a gut check. If women are good at one thing, it's having those gut feelings, trust it, and go with it. So once you decide what that number is, that's the starting place. Let's figure out monthly what you're going to be intentional with. It doesn't have to go to savings or investing. Ideally, I'd love for it to go to both, but we have to consider other things like paying off credit card debt or other things that may have an interest rate that you want to get rid of. Then once you've got that number, let's talk about the quarterly number. So this will be most applicable to people that have an income that ebbs and flows. If you've got commissions or bonuses, or you're a business owner that has busy times of year, this is an opportunity for you to focus on when those busy times are and those cash windfalls happen. And again, be really intentional. So if you're somebody that knows, let's say that the third quarter is really good for you in your family or your business, that's where you can be a little bit more aggressive and say, in addition to the monthly amount that I'm putting away, I want to put away this big chunk on a quarterly basis. And then lastly, working into that annual number. So I want you guys to dream really big. I want you to think about what it would feel like if we are sitting here January 1 of 2026 and being able to look back and say, I saved this big number, whatever that is, whether it's 10,000, 50,000, and having a plan on how to get there and breaking it down in easy bite-size chunks is going to make all the difference. The reality is, if you don't hit the number that you have set for yourself in the beginning of the year, I almost can guarantee that it's going to be still better than if you didn't have a plan at all. Time has a way of just getting away from us. So we need to be super intentional. I love to say that the best place to be is in an and universe. And what does that mean? If you have goals like getting a savings account to a specific amount or a business savings to a certain amount, but you also aren't saving, you really don't want to focus on one side of the coin or the other. If you determine what that number is that you actually have to be intentional around, partner with somebody like me or somebody in my industry that can help you determine how much of that needs to be going towards savings and paying down debt and investing. Once you have this accumulation plan in place, the next piece of advice I can give you, honestly, guys, you've got to have an accountability partner, whether that's your spouse or a trusted mentor or a friend that has done really well financially. It just helps keep you honest. It helps you stay true to your school, like my dad would always say to me. So find that person. It doesn't have to be a professional. It can really just be somebody that you know, like, and trust that you can check in with. And this brings me to my other point. One of the things that I like to do at the beginning of every single year is to look at who my personal board of directors are and see if any adjustments need to be made. Now, you guys may be thinking, what in the world does that mean? I am a single woman and have a W-2 job. What I like to think about is building out your board of directors, the people that are going to help you accomplish the goals when it comes to anything financial in your life. So these people, number one, are going to be honored and privileged to be able to take care of you and help you. I want you to think of that. This is not just an ask. Number one, some of these professionals you're going to pay, but the ones you're not, I think that there comes some level of flattery to know that what they have to offer to you is meaningful. And I think as a whole, we all can relate to the fact that providing an impact is important. So let's talk about how to build out this board of directors. Obviously, this is going to be really specific to the stage of life that you're in and also the industry you're in. But I think that it's really important to focus on a few main components. So one, you need to have somebody that you can trust when it comes to taxes. So a CPA, a bookkeeper. You don't necessarily need a bookkeeper or a CPA if your situation isn't overly complex. But if it's something that's taking up your time, and certainly if you have a business, you want to onboard these people. I know that a lot of my clients will say, oh, but it's something that I don't mind doing. And I understand that. But you have to think through the fact that this is actually taking time away from you and building your empire, building whether it's your business or your personal wealth. If it's not something that is creating income for you, it's probably something that you should outsource. So taxes are a big thing. You want to make sure that you understand your numbers and you have somebody that understands tax code that's guiding you and ensuring that you're making the IRS happy, but you're also making yourself happy. And remember, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. So you want to have a trusted relationship in that area of your financial landscape. So we've got the tax side situated. Let's talk about now how to make sure that your assets are protected. Whether you have a family or people that are counting on you or a business, it's really important that you have a trusted relationship with an attorney. Maybe that's a business attorney, maybe it's a family law attorney, maybe it's an estate planning attorney. But it's important that you have somebody that has proven to be a great partner and somebody that you can reach out to and ask questions to make sure that you've got all things buttoned up. When we talk about having those accountability partners, that is a perfect segue into what I think is equally as important, and that's having the right people around you. So something that I talk about all the time with my clients and within the Women in Wealth community is building out your board of directors. And within the Women in Wealth community, I call it, I've got a girl. And I'm sure that you can think about why I came up with that term, but it's so easy to say, oh, I've got a guy for that, but we have a girl for that. And basically what that means is building out your personal board of directors and figuring out who those relationships are and what they're going to do to get you to the next level. So obviously this is going to be different for everybody, right? If you're a business owner, the people that you need at your table are going to be different than if you are a single woman just starting out, or you're a C-suite, or you are just working to improve your family's positions when it comes to finances. Within the community, we talk all the time about who are those people. I think it's really important to understand that as your life stage changes and evolves and your career evolves, the people you need at your table are going to evolve as well. So in the beginning of the year, it's a great time to sit down and think, who's at the table, who needs to be added, or who do I not need anymore? So let's start with taxes. Now, some of you may have a simple tax situation and you may just do them online and by yourself, and that's okay. But I feel like having a resource to ask questions to is always going to be important. If you find yourself in a situation where you own different assets or real estate, or you're a business owner, you 100% need to be partnering with an accountant or a CPA to make sure that you're following the tax code, but also it's not about how much money that you make, it's about how much money you're keeping. So we want to make sure that you've got a good tax strategist in your corner and at your table. Someone who's not just telling you what to do and filing your taxes, but somebody who's really helping you be strategic. The next piece of this, obviously, is a bookkeeper. I have so many conversations with women that say, well, I do my own books, I save a little bit of money, and I don't mind doing it. There's a big difference between doing something because you can and doing something because you need to. When you think about the time that you're putting into doing your books or balancing your family financials, it's usually in your favor to outsource that to somebody. How bookkeepers bill is based on the complexity of how many accounts you have. And again, just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should be devoting time, which is obviously everybody's most treasured resource, to doing something to save a few dollars. Okay, so taxes and bookkeepers out of the way. Now let's shift into the legal side of things. All of us at some point need legal advice. If you're a business owner, you need a lot based on operating accounts and buy-sell agreements, all of the things that we need to do to make sure that we're financially bulletproof. We need to have an attorney that can execute on some of those things. It doesn't mean you have to have them on retainer, but you need to at least have that relationship and you're working with someone that you like and trust. And for those of you who aren't business owners, one of the main reasons that you would be dealing with an attorney would be for estate planning or family law. A lot of people feel like this is number 11 on their top 10 things to do list. And oftentimes we'll think, well, because I don't have children, maybe it's not necessary. But the reality is having the documents in place that will protect you, God forbid anything happen, that would help your family make decisions for you, access money that you may need to help with something that you have going on. That's critical. And so again, it's never too early to start having these conversations with a trusted relationship to figure out the right time to execute these documents. Starting with a basic will is, I would say, the bare minimum, and then moving into trust work as soon as you have the assets that make it make sense. The next pillar is one that we are dealing with right now, and it's one that is always a thorn in everyone's side. So Jason and I were talking through all of the renewals that our insurances are taking. And it's one of those things that, your car insurance, homeowners insurance, umbrella policies, that nobody wants to get on the phone and deal with these insurance companies. And we kind of did like a not it type of thing to see who was going to sit on the phone. The best way to avoid that, guys, is have a relationship that they can just go back through and shop it out for you. I inevitably lost, so I'm going to be handling this with one of our trusted relationships, but it sucks when you're paying one amount for something and that slow creep that happens with car insurance, especially, and then certainly homeowners insurance. That one's a little bit trickier to deal with just because of all the storms and everything that happens, natural disaster wise, that impact that. But your car insurance, they're totally doing a disservice. It's kind of like a lifestyle creep. They're just hoping that you're not paying attention and that goes up over and over. Call and audit those things with a trusted professional that can say, this is no longer working. Let's switch carriers and save a bunch of money. And I know it doesn't feel like that's going to change your financial landscape for the year, but when you think about saving a couple $100 a month, that's thousands of dollars a year that then you can put towards buying the things that you want to do or going on vacation or shopping for shoes, something fun, So that is an important one that stinks but is necessary. Another thing to just look at is real estate professionals, always having somebody in your corner that if that's something that's part of your life, whether you're thinking about is now the time to sell my house or do you have a big goal for buying a house, have somebody that can be on the lookout. They are happy to do it and you never know when the opportunity is going to knock. Other things like banking relationships, these are always going to be important because you never know when you're going to need to have quick access to money, whether it's a personal loan or a home equity line of credit, especially as we all are starting to do more and diversify. Leverage is one of the best things that you can do to grow your wealth, and having that relationship will be so critical, especially when time is of the essence. Obviously, business owners are going to have other needs. And certainly, I want to help you guys with all of these things. If you are curious on how do you source these relationships, how do you find them, and you are not part of the Women in Wealth community, I'm happy to share some of the questions that you need to be asking to make sure that the people you're bringing to your table are delivering the kind of experience that you want. You want to make sure that the relationship is meeting expectations, and asking the right questions before you sign an engagement agreement is critical. So we've talked about all of these relationships. And as a business owner, there's a lot more that you probably need at your table. If you are not part of the Women in Wealth community and you have no idea where to start, please go to talkwealthy.com. Drop us a message there. I'm more than happy to have the team send out a resource for you to understand what the questions are as you're sourcing these relationships, to make sure that they're delivering the type of experience that is going to be right for you. And there's a lot of transparency. Transparency is going to make sure that the relationship is successful and one that hopefully you keep at your table for years to come. One last quick thing I want to mention to you guys. I know that, there's a lot of uncertainty with how to invest, what the right sectors are to be investing in. And I want to leave you with one thing. Investing is critical to growing your wealth. You're not going to save your way there. So whether you're starting small or you're a seasoned investor, I want to just make sure that you all are making it part of that accumulation plan. There are accounts that you should focus on first. And if you want more information on that, again, let me know. I'm happy to send it to you. But find a trusted resource that can walk you through where to start your investing journey or how to pivot. Going into Q1, we're going to have a lot of uncertainty in the market. And this is not a political stance. This is truly just understanding that as the dust settles, the market will settle. And it doesn't matter who's in office, there are ways to win regardless. And that comes with how you're investing your money based on where you think that the current administration is going to focus. So again, find that person that you can trust to walk you through this and take the emotion out of it. Time in the market is better than timing the market. You want to be investing. Now let's wrap up. Sit down, have the State of the Union, call it whatever you want, but just make sure you're having the conversations. Look back at 2024, figure out where your money wins and money losses were, build out an accumulation plan, start with something monthly, quarterly, and then have that dream big number that you want to be intentional with each year. And then, most importantly, build out your board of directors. If you don't know where to start, I've got a girl. Go to womeninwealth.co. I'm happy to help you along that way. And lastly, invest something. Start yesterday. If you have any questions or need any resources, I'm here to help. Just drop a message below and let's make sure that we are changing the way women think and feel about money. And 2025 is your most financially successful year yet. As always, it is my absolute pleasure to be here with you all. I love spending time so much and love all of the feedback I've been getting. With that being said, if there is a topic that you want me to talk about or a guest that you want to see on the show, I would love to hear from you. Like, share, subscribe, follow, rate, all of the things. It only helps the audience grow. And with the audience growing, we all grow together.